Okay.
I think I understand what you meant, but
Just trying to make some Seder here.
I have to sort of read between the lines.
I'm looking at the Anim Zmiris. David brought me a Sefer on Anim Zmiris, but I didn't get a chance to look at it, so I have to more you. But just looking at the Anim Zmiris, which again is all about, I believe it was written by Rabbi Yehuda Levi, I think. But Anim Zmiris is all about our yearning to try to understand Hashem, and specifically what He looks like. The first part of it is the poetry is beautiful. Nafshi chamda b'tzel yadecha, Nafshi chamda b'tzel yadecha, my nefesh is choimei b'tzel yadecha, ladas kol roz soidecha. That's right, a depiction of what it means to be Jewish, right? Nafshi chamda b'tzel yadecha, ladas kol roz soidecha. And he goes on to say, Dimu oischa v'loi kafi eshcha, so many times the Nevi'im, biyad Nevi'echa v'soid avodecha, dimisa adark v'adecha, and the Nevi'im tried to give different descriptions of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They can never get it. Dimu oischa v'loi kafi eshcha. But then, towards the end, we start saying as follows. Just want to translate these couple of psukim as a lead into what I want to say here. Pe'eroi olai ufeiri olav, v'karoi ve'elai b'kari elav. Pe'eroi olai. So what's pear? Pear, the Gemara says, refers to tefillin. The Gemara Bracha says that everybody will see the pear on Bnei Yisrael, zu tefillin shel Rosh, v'yiraucha mimenu. So pear, our glory, if you will, is a tefillin shel Rosh. So here it says, pe'eroi olai. We're wearing Hashem's tefillin. Ufe'eri alav, and Hashem's wearing our tefillin. So there's a kesher between Bnei Yisrael and Hashem in the tefillin. The karei ve'elai, the karei elav. And then we say, and this is really what I want to be focused on, and I think you pointed out something similar. Kesher tefillin hera la'anav. Okay, we know kesher tefillin hera la'anav, that Moshe Rabbeinu stood at Har Sinai after the second Luchos, and after Bnei Yisrael did Tshuva, and after Hashem said that He forgave the Bnei Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hareini es kivoidcha. Let me see your kavod. And Hashem said, no. Larisem, you're not going to see. Well, Yerani ha'adam v'chai, and that you can't see me and live. And Varisas Achoirai Vespanai Lo Yero. You can see my back, but you can't see the front. And the Gemara says, Rashi says, and the Gemara says, what does it mean you can see my back and you have the front? This Rashi is not very helpful, but he says that Moshe showed Moshe Rabbeinu the Kesher Shel Tefillin. So it's pretty wild when you think about it. I mean, what did he see? He saw the Kesher Shel Tefillin. So here we're saying Kesher Tefillin Heralanam. So Chazal put that together with V'ra'isas Achaira. You can see me from the back, but you can't see me from the front. We don't see Hashem at all. And then we say Kesher Tefillin Heralianav Temunas Hashem L'neged Einav, all in the same pasuk. Temunas Hashem L'neged Einav. Temunas Hashem sounds like he saw the Temunah of Hashem. So he's saying no. Kesher Tefillin Hera La'anav, he saw the Kesher Shel Tefillin, but Tmunas Hashem L'neged Einav. Roitza Be'amay Anavim Yifa'er. It's talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the Anav. So what did Moshe Rabbeinu see? This is what I want to address here for a moment. Lefi Hasagasenu, what did Moshe Rabbeinu see? So he wanted to see, this is what we have by Matan Torah. He wanted to see Hashem, the front, and apparently, how do we know that? All he said is Hareini Nas Kvoidcha, but apparently that means the front. We see that from the answer, because Hashem's answer was, no, you can't see my front, you can only see my back. What is the back that he saw? So Moshe Rabbeinu saw the back. What was the back that he saw? He saw the Kesher Shel Tefillin. What does it mean to see the Kesher Shel Tefillin? So the Mefarshim say something very, very beautiful, Agav, that the Kesher Shel Tefillin, it really represents two things. number one is V'ro kol amei haaretz Hashem Hashem nikra alecha zu tefillin shabarosh. Everybody could see the tefillin shabarosh. They see a Jew, they see the tefillin shabarosh, they see the pair. But the kesher shel tefillin is what you don't immediately see. And the kesher shel tefillin represents what's going on under the hood. Kesher shel tefillin is like, why are those tefillin there? Are they horns? Are they something which is just sitting there somehow magically? No, there's a kesher shel tefillin, and the kesher shel tefillin are making the tefillin shel rosh stand there. So in a way, simple pshat, is Hashem was saying to Moshe, you can't see the front, you can't see my tefillin shel rosh, if you will, but you can see the kesher shel tefillin, as panai lo yero, you can see how everything works. What does he see? What everything works? You can see how everything works, but he can't see the Pnei Hashem. And the Mefarshim explained that what it means is that this section of the body, right, the bottom of the there's a doctor here, the bottom of the sacrum. What is this? The bottom of the skull is what connects.
It's called a nuchal where the cervical vertebrae.
The cervical vertebrae. Anyways, this is what connects the head to the body. Bottom line is the spine goes up to there, that's the top of the spine, and then you're connected to the head. Meaning, if all the energy in the center of the nerve system and all the thoughts that we have that make our hands move and everything move, all comes from our head, somewhere in our brain, then it works its way down. This is the kesher. So the kesher shel tefillin is not just the kesher shel tefillin. The kesher shel tefillin is the kesher between the head and the body. In the case of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, say the Mefarshim, the kesher shel tefillin of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the kesher between Hashem and the Bnei Yisrael. Digest this for a second, because in other words, the Bnei Yisrael comes out to be Ki'ilu, the body. You know, if you ever, I'm not here to teach Kabbalah, but if you ever look at the charts of the spheroids, so it's always in the shape of a person. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, right? That's Yesod is the center core of the body, and Malchus is the bottom of the body. So it's all B'tzuras Adam, but it's all the B'tzuras Adam. The Keser is Lamala. So the Kesher Shel Tefillin is the Kesher between Hashem and the Bnei Yisrael. And what it means is that Moshe Rabbeinu was asking, let me see you, and Hashem said to him, you don't have to see me. What you have to see is that I'm always Mekusher to the Bnei Yisrael. No matter what they do, there's a Kesher Shel Tefillin. So here, to put it in context, it was right after the Chet HaEgel. And right after the Chet HaEgel, and Hashem forgave them. Okay, why? Why did he forgive them? I'll show you why. Kesher Shel Tefillin. Meaning that the way I created the world is that there's no separation between the Rosh and the Guf. There's no separation between Hashem and the Guf Kiviyachol, which is the Bnei Yisrael. It comes out that we are in a bechina of the Guf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Interesting insight. What I want to point out is this. Let's leave the Adam's mirrors for a second. Kesher Shel Tefillin Haralanov. He only saw the Kesher Shel Tefillin. Tmunas Hashem leneged Einav. And then he saw the Tmunas Hashem. In the Chumash, if you go to, let's say, in Parshas Ba'aloischa. So in Parshas Ba'aloischa we have the story of Aaron and Miriam talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. Shtikol Lashon Hara on Moshe Rabbeinu. Vayomer Hashem Pitaim al Moshe vel Aaron vel Miriam Tzu Shloshtichem el Oil Moed v'yetzu Shloshtem. Come to the Oil Moed. Subpoena. Vayered Hashem ba'amud anan v'yamud Pesach Oil v'yikra Aaron and Miriam v'yetzu Shnehem. Vayomer. And Hashem said as follows: Shimu na devarayim yeh neviachim Hashem b'marei elav esvada. There are neviim. In other words, he's telling Moshe, Miriam and Aaron off. He's telling them off, and he's saying to them, there are neviim. But if there are neviim b'marei elav esvada b'chaloi madaber ba, they'll have a vision. They'll have a dream. Loi chein avdi Moshe. This is not the case with Moshe. He told Aaron and Miriam, b'chol beisi nemonhu. Rashi says, "V'chol beisi nemonhu," that he has free entree. A navi gets a nevuah when he gets a nevuah. many of the Nevi'im, they only had a Nevuah once in his life, not that they had an ongoing Nevuah. Moshe Rabbeinu was B'chol Beisi Neman, who always had Nevuah. He had a question, you see in the Torah a lot of times, if he didn't even know, he said, wait a minute, I'll ask Hashem. He had very clear, right? I'll ask, I'll find out for you. Like, so he had straight entree into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what called Beisi Neman, who? Next pasuk, unbelievable. Peh el peh adaber boi. Umari aveloi b'chidos u'tmunas Hashem yabit. That's the Adam's verse. Tmunas Hashem l'negedei nov, right? So, peh el peh. So here we have a pasuk, Bahaloischa, Parakut Beis, pasuk Ches, which defines the relationship between Hashem and Moshe. Remember that much earlier in Parashas Kisisa, Hashem said, Hareini noas kvoidcha, and he said, I'll show you my kesher shel tefillin. And here he says, peh el peh adaber boy. So first of all, what does it even mean? You don't speak to somebody mouth to mouth. You speak to somebody mouth to ear. Peh el oizen. Who speaks mouth to mouth? It's like weird. It's like an Eskimo thing to do or something. What's peh el peh adaber boy? What does it even mean? Peh el peh adaber boy. Hard to understand. And then he says, Umare, that's eyes, v'loy b'chidos. It's not something Moshe Rabbeinu had to figure out. This is what Chazal renamed as aspaklaria hameira. Aspaklaria is the same word as vision, right? Aspaklaria meira. All the Nevi'im saw aspaklaria she'enoi meira. It was unclear. They had to learn it afterwards. They had to try to decipher what the code was. What did they hear? It's Nevuah, so Moshe Rabbeinu, no, clear. Aspaklaria meira. Mare v'loy b'chidus utmunas Hashem yabit. So two things we ought to concentrate here. What does it mean, peh el peh adaber boy? And what does it mean, utmunas Hashem yabit? What did he see? Madua lo yeresim l'daber b'avdi Moshe. Why are you talking about Moshe Rabbeinu when he has these tchunas of peh el peh adaber boy and Tmunas Hashem Yabit? So there's a lot to say here. I want to say one thing. I want to read to you the Or HaChaim. The Or HaChaim says, because it's so nogea what we're learning here. The Or HaChaim says, what is Peh el Peh Shayim Medaber Peh el Peh? V'dikte gloimer el Peh v'loy la'oizim. Why does it say Peh and not ear? Peh el oizim. It would make more sense. So he says as follows. Zuhi hadragas nevuah she'ein lemalo mimeno. This is the highest form of nevuah. Peh el peh. What does it mean? Please memorize these words. Sheyikshar Hashem nefesh navi b'makor hamenabe. The peh el peh is not about talking, and it's not about listening, and it's not a lot about figuring out. Different thing. Yikshar Hashem, a bonding by Hashem of nefesh hanavi b'makor hamenabe. A binding of two things. Moshe Rabbeinu, peh el peh. A person, peh el peh, neshika peh el peh. Neshika peh el peh is two people binding. A peh el peh is that it's not. It wasn't a cerebral thing. It wasn't something it wasn't a visual thing. Because the Or HaChaim, peh el peh, was an experiential thing, more than experiential. I don't even know the right word. Where there was a connection between Moshe Rabbeinu and Hashem, had nothing to do with any of the senses. It was a connection between Moshe Rabbeinu and Hashem. Peh el peh sheyikshar Hashem nefesh Navi b'makor hamenabe. Moshe Rabbeinu completely connected, one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'yishalshel hanevuah. And this was what we're talking about here, key Nefesh Hachaim phrase. We're not talking about dibur, we're talking about hishtalshelus. Hishtalshelus means that there was a connection between Hashem and Moshe Rabbeinu. The issue was the connection. Peh el peh adaber boy, the connection. You hearing the significance of this? It wasn't about a dibur. This is not mefarish edu tmunas Hashem yabit, but the peh el peh adaber boy. So I want to speak more about this in a minute. Elsewhere in the Chumash, just want to make a seder over here, but in Parshas Yisro, right after Hashem gave the story, just last week's parsha, right after we had the giving of the Torah. So what did the Bnei Yisrael say? V'chol am royim es hakolos v'es halapidim v'es kol hashofer v'es hahar oshen v'yar ha'am v'yanu v'yamdu mirachak. Everybody was in awe, all shaken up by the experience of Har Sinai, and they were taken aback. They stood back. Vayomer al Moshe, and then they said to Moshe, Daber atay manu v'nishma v'yidaber imanu alikim pen namus. Let it be that you speak to us and not Hashem speaks to us. So this is uncomfortable for us. Meaning that whatever that relationship of peh that Moshe Rabbeinu had, Bnei Yisrael did not want to have that relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu of peh, a little too intimate. Peh. See, we say that when Moshe Rabbeinu spoke, Hashchina medaberes mitoch groinai. It wasn't even him speaking. It was a hishtalshlus where Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking. Hashem was speaking through Moshe Rabbeinu. Mashma from the Psukim, I think I pointed this out on Shabbos, that Moshe Rabbeinu thought that and Hashem thought maybe, that the whole Bnei Yisrael should hear Hashem's words directly. They didn't want. They said, you speak, you tell it to us, we want it in a cliché. Vayomer Moshe Elohim al tiro. What are you afraid to listen to Hashem? Ki levavor naseis eschem ba'alikim uvavor tia yirasa el pneichem levilti tefto. What I explained on Shabbos was that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't initially agree with Yisro, because Yisro wanted everybody to be a whole hierarchy. He wanted to be a whole pecking order here. Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, everybody could hear Hashem. Everybody can hear straight to Hashem. What do we need all of this? Okay, it's impractical. God could work with that too. He could split the sea, so he'll work it out. I'll have time to deal with everybody directly. Nishkafarla. But Hashem said to listen to Yisro, bring it down to this world. Vayamud al mirachik, and here's the case. Moshe says, I don't know what to do now. Let me ask Hashem. This is the case. Okay, this is what you stop. Hashem says to them, Beseder. But they heard what I had to say. This is so random. Don't make any avodah zarah. Again, what did they do? They made avodah zarah. But what was the nakuda here? That for those, the omek dvar Hashem here is that for those that feel that they saw something unbelievable, kolos, brakim, hahar oshen kulai, malachim, who knows what they saw at Har Sinai, and they were afraid of it, they were going backwards. What they're going to do is they're going to start making graven images. They're going to start worshiping the sun. They're going to start worshiping malachim, making pictures of malachim. So Hashem said to them, I hear something very, very deep in what they're saying that we don't want to see anymore, that they're feeling like they can't relate to me. They're relating only to lower things. I don't want any avodah zarah. No avodah zarah. That was the first thing that Hashem told them. When Moshe Rabbeinu recounts the story in Parshas V'eschanun, just follow me on this tour through the Chumash here, because it's, again, he tells Moshe Rabbeinu is talking about how I gave the Aseres HaDibros, and then after the Aseres HaDibros he tells the story. And he says, As hadvar ma'ela diber Hashem es kol kahalchem bahar mitoich ha'esh. These are the 10 commandments which Hashem spoke to kol kahalchem bahar b'toich ha'esh ha'anan ha'rafel kol gadol v'layasaf v'yichtevem al shnei lufas avon v'yidnu me'lai. V'yehi, and it was, says Moshe Rabbeinu is telling over the story in Devarim, V'yiki shamachem es hakol mitoich ha'choshech v'ahar b'har b'reish. When you heard all this and you saw the mountain burning, v'tikrvunei like horashe shivteichem, we get a little inside track to the story that happened in Yisro, because all those details not in Yisro. He said, so now the Rashe Shivteichem, we didn't know who said it, Rashe Shivteichem v'zikneichem, they approached me, v'toimru, when they said, Hein haranu is Riyah, Hashem Elokeinu es kvoidai. Remember what did Moshe Rabbeinu say at Har Sinai? Haredu la es kvoidcha. And now they're saying, what are the Zakanim saying? Hareinu Hashem Elokeinu es kvoidai. Ves koiloi shemanu mitoich ha'esh. Hayoim hazeh ra'inu ki yidaber Elokim es ha'adam b'chai. Ba'ata, like I said, the Zakenim, lama namus. We're all going to die. We heard enough. We saw enough. We're just plain people. We can't. We're not holding by hearing and seeing Hashem. Again, detail. You go and you tell it to us. Vayishma Hashem is kol divreichem. Moshe Rabbeinu recounting the story is Vayishma Hashem is kol divreichem b'daberchem elai. Hashem heard you the Zakenim just like I heard the Zakenim. Vayomer Hashem elai shamati is kol divrei hamazeh asher dibru elecha heitivu kol asher diberu. I'm good with that. Heitivu kol asher diberu. If you go a couple, that's in Parshas Veschanon. Just to make this complete, if you go to Parshas Shoftim, in Parak Yud Ches, I hope you're going to all remember this. In Parak Yud Ches, Pasuk Yud Zayin.
It seems that it's not the same thing we're talking about. Whatever Moshe wanted to see. Was not able to. Now the people recalled that they did see. So
obviously, and it all goes back to what did he see? Kesher shel tefillin harel anav, utmunas Hashem leneged einav.
So we're not talking the same real.
L'chayra. So here in Veschanon, okay, bear with me for a moment. Here in Veschanon it says that they didn't want to see. And Hashem said, okay, they don't have to see, they don't have to listen, it can go through you. Eitivu es hasher diberu. And then in Parshas Shoftim, it says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, first he says, Tamim tiyem Hashem Elokecha. Interesting. Tamim tiyem Hashem Elokecha. You had a request at Har Sinai on that day, and this he said 40 years later, right? And you said, Lo yoisef lishmoyas kol Hashem Elokai v'seisha g'dol azois lo era oid v'lo amos. Yud Ches Tezayin. Vayomer Hashem Elai, and Hashem said, as we just saw, Heitivu asher diberu. So he repeats the story. You said you didn't want to see, Hashem said, okay, with me. Heitivu asher diberu. Now he goes further on this. What did Hashem say? Navi akim lahem b'kerev achehem kamoicha v'nasati dvarai b'fiv v'diber elikim es hakol asher atzavenu. So therefore I've invented a concept of a Navi, says Hashem, where Hashem will speak, I will speak through his mouth. And he goes on to Hilchos Nevuah. This is all in the context, by the way, of don't do avodah zarah. Now, let me just tie that up for you here a minute, and then we'll say something hopefully useful. Again, a couple of ideas. Hashem was made that Moshe Rabbeinu and he spoke peh el peh. One thing. Number two, there was a chance apparently for the whole Bnei Yisrael to speak to Hashem or to hear from Hashem peh el peh. But they removed themselves from that, and Hashem said, Heitivos Hasher Diberu, but be careful about Avodah Zarah. Be careful of Avodah Zarah. And he says before, Tmunas Hashem lo yabid. They never saw the Tmunas Hashem. Don't think you saw the Tmunas Hashem and therefore you can make pictures of it. No, don't do that. At the very end of the Torah, the very end of the Chumash, maybe the last 3 psukim from the end. So what does it say? Famous psukim. Zois HaBracha. Vayivku b'nei Yisrael as Moshe. V'leikam navi oid b'Yisrael k'Moshe asher yida'oi Hashem ponim el ponim. Who saw Hashem face to face. Face to face. The Targum says, "Is Galalei Hashem apin ba'apin." So apparently there was a face-to-face and there was a peh with Moshe. Even though Hashem said, Panai lo yero, you can't see my face. So what was the panim al panim? Yodas Hashem panim al panim. So what does it mean? Yada means iskale. That's what the Targum says. Agiloi. Huh? Okay, I'm just reading the Targum. Iskale Hashem apin ba'apin. So obviously, Nefesh Hachaim on all of this, without asking all of these questions, but to hear the question, the kasha is clear. Like, it seems to be that he wasn't allowed to see, but he did see. They didn't want to see, but they could have seen. Moshe Rabbeinu was told, nobody can see me. So they didn't see Ativos Asher Tibeira, but be careful with Avodah Zarah, because since you can't see me, you're going to start making Avodah Zarah to be able to relate to something spiritual.
And they said they didn't die, but they're afraid of dying.
They didn't die, but they're afraid of dying. If they see him, they'll die. Dying is kind of cool.
They said we saw it, we didn't die.
Dying, like...
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, dying, the Indian of Misa is when you start. Isaac the Vilna Gaon says that he looked in the mirror once, and he saw that his beard turned white. So he said that when your beard turns white, you're supposed to start thinking about dying, not planning for it, but like your years of Aliyah are going. Now start thinking about the Olam Ha'emes. But dying is the pshat hispashtus aguf me'an neshama. You don't have to schlep those suitcases of your body any longer. You put it down, you put it aside, you die. Like your neshama still lives and you die. Pashat of Shat Misa. I mean, nobody's described it, but I'm describing what it means. So when the Israel is sitting at Har Sinai, in order to be able to experience and to see the Dvar Hashem said, Lo Yirani Adam V'chai. So they said, well, if Lo Yirani Adam V'chai, as long as you have a goof, you still have to be schlepping around a goof over here, so you can't see me. So they said, well, if we see Hashem, then we're all going to die. Meaning, are we going to come to this madrega? I don't know if die mamish, but we're all going to come to this madrega of Hispashtus Aguf. We're not holding by that. What?
They didn't die in the first two Hebrews.
Okay, that's a chazal. They died, that's chisamesim. But dying, that's what I'm trying to explain here. Dying doesn't mean necessarily dying. Dying means that there's a complete bittul haguf. We see that the Nevi'im had this, even with their Nevuah, which was a lesser Nevuah than Moshe Rabbeinu, there was this bittul haguf. They got some type of, epileptic...
It's like a near death?
Whatever. I'm saying that dying means that I have my neshama without my goof. If that's what it takes to hear Hashem, you talk. You do the talk, and I'm not holding by. So that's what they were afraid of. It wasn't just they're afraid of dying in the sense of are we holding by complete bittul haguf. Okay. What's clear, the Nefesh Hachaim brings a Zohar. I'll speak it out outside. And I looked up the Zohar inside. That we have to understand. I just want to try in 10 minutes to try to say two important things. Number one, we have to understand what we're seeing here, or what the different levels of seeing Hashem. There's Hashem Atzmusay Shal Yisbarach, and Nefesh Hachaim brings this. There's Atzmusay Shal Yisbarach, and then there's Tmunas Hashem Yabit, which is the Malchus of Hashem Yisbarach. Let's think of it as, let's say you bend over and you see yourself in a reflection in the water. But you touch the water, or a mirror for that matter, you touch the water and you don't feel anything within yourself. So the pshat is it's only a reflection. So what seems to be is, as the Zohar, and I'll just read you a line from the Zohar as translated in Hebrew. Im yiksha Adam, this is exactly from the Zohar. Im yiksha Adam, harei nemar ki lo yisem kol tmuna. How could it be lo yisem kol tmuna? There's no way. Hashem said you can't worship Avodah Zarah because you don't know what you're talking about. Lo yisem kol tmuna. Hu yitaretz harei tmuna reisi harei nemar tmunas Hashem yabit. We say not in Mizmiras. So it says lo yisem kol tmuna. And on the other hand, it says Tmunas Hashem Yapit. Didn't you ask a question like this a few days ago? It's just a little better words. So he says the Zohar, Ella, Kishiyared limloich al habriyos umispashit aleim yir lahem l'chol echad ve'echad kifi mar v'chizayin v'dimyan shalahem v'zeu b'yad hanavim adame. That there is something. You can never see the Atzmusay Shel Yisbarach, but you can see how it reflects in this world. So wherever we say Utmunas Hashem lo yabid, so it's talking about, right, lo ra'isem kol tmunas, nobody ever sees, nobody ever can see, even Moshe Rabbeinu can't see the Tmunas Hashem. When we talk about Utmunas Hashem yabid, we're talking about the reflection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. I'll add that when we're talking about panim el panim, so we're talking about not necessarily, as you say, a riyah, but a gilui, that I can see the reflection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. Peh el peh, a Daber boy says it the best, because peh el peh, according to the Shaar Bet HaKadosh, means peh el peh, it's a total bittul of myself in this world, in the world of Malchus. Let me read. Even though I look like you, Sharei Kadam Shabar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Diyukan Ba'olam B'tzayir Tzura Hu HaYechidi B'li Tzura V'Dimyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no tzura, per se, no shape. Yet we're created in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So how can we be created in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no image? U'misha Noidolai Kadam B'riya Shu Mechutz L'Diyukan Asher Lasus L'Tzura D'Musa Diyukan Ba'olam. What you can't do is make a picture of anything L'Risam Kol Tzmunak. Lo reason lo tzmuna. We called over sheish v'tumah d'mim lo reason. Aval acher she'asa diyukan zeh shel merkava shel adam elyon yared l'shem nikar b'is and diyukan yud kei vav kei. Let's explain yud kei vav kei when we have a little more time. But what the yud kei vav kei is the tzura of hashgacha pratis. So what we have over here is as follows. What we have is that there's two places to see. You could see it. You could see the reflection. Remember, I said I learned with you the words of Rabbi Tzadok a couple of days ago. Rabbi Tzadok says that Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to see the sun. Nobody can look at the sun. Moshe Rabbeinu could see the sun. Rabbi Akiva was able to see the moon. The moon is a reflection of the sun, so you can see the sun of the light by looking at the sun, the light of the sun by looking at the moon. But you can't see a reflection. It's easier to look at, but you can't see the sun itself. What is this reflection that we're seeing? Just to make a clarity over here, what we're seeing is what the Mekubalim call the spherois. Lo yoter. The spheroids are not more than this and not less than this. The spheroids are, it's like lamashal. It's like when light, you can't see light, but when light reflects on something, you can see it. So when light reflects on the world, it reflects through chesed, it reflects through gevura, through tiferes, through netzach, through hoid, yisoid, malchus. Those are reflections, they don't even learn Kabbalah because you're going to come to. But Leira'isem Kol Tmuna is over here. Nobody sees the same Seif. What you can see though is the spheres. You can see the Chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can see the Din of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That you can see, and that Moshe Rabbeinu saw panim al panim. That's what Bnei Yisrael was afraid to see. The spheres itself, they were afraid to see. Can we see the din of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Can we see the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So with me. So we have two dinim, lamalo and lamata. So that's what the Zohar says. So besides for all the other answers, that's the Zohar's teretz. But what I want to share with you is, I saw here in the Maral, the Gavaldic thing, and it comes right back to our sugi. This is very practical. Everything I've been saying now is not practical at all, but except for maybe to listen during Animus Mirrors. But this is extremely practical. What we're learning here is what is a bracha. That's the sugya of Shaar Bet, Parak Beis, Parak Gimel of the Nefesh Hachaim. What is a bracha? We already lost the novice approach of I am thanking Hashem or blessing Hashem. That's not philosophically tenable. That Hashem needs anything, including our brachas. And what we've learned is that what a bracha really is. What is a bracha? A bracha is where all of that infinity and that which cannot be grasped and that which cannot be seen, Moshe Rabbeinu even couldn't see it. Bracha is the vehicle by which all of that infinity becomes finite in our world. Understand this well. Rabbi Akiva saw finity, or what was the word you taught me? Finitude. because of Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah Shabbat Peh. He worked out. It was something that he came to logically. Kal v'chaymer, Gzeir Shabbat, something that he came to logically. But if we're looking at the reflection, or we're trying to understand what we're trying to understand when we're davening, when we're making brachas, when we're living, is how here's a new task, homework. How do I take that which is infinite and bring it into this world? Nice, no? Not everything in this world has to have finitude. For instance, our feelings don't have to have finitude. You can love somebody forever, without any bounds. You can care about somebody without any bounds. You can do chesed without bounds. Your mind has limits. So what I can't be masig, I can feel. So the whole idea of life, Judaism, is to take that infinity and bring it into this world. When Hashem said to Yishmael Kohen Gadol, which we learned, Yishmael b'ni barcheni, what he meant to say is, bring my midos, which are so infinite, you're the Kohen Gadol, that's what a Kohen Gadol is supposed to do, bring my midos into this world, my rachamim, my chesed, bring into this world so that the world will continue to work. Because if there's a human being around like Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol, so that means there's still the possibility of taking the infinite and bringing it into the finite. There's a lot of infinity within our finitude, and that's what we have to grasp. So when we're davening, what we're davening is, this is the meditation, if you will, that here's something which is way beyond me to understand, to see, to touch, to feel, but bring it into this world. I want to have finitude in this world. I want to have gvul. I want to have your infinity in this world. It's possible to have miracles when you're infinity. If we're asking somebody for a bracha, what's happening is taking a little bit of the infinity and bringing it into your life. If the person is that kind of a funnel, same way that Moshe Rabbeinu was a shechina medaberes mitoch groinai, taking that I don't want to even say kedusha because that's already has its tzimtzum. I'm not talking about kedusha. I'm not talking about schusim. I'm talking about infinity, ein sof, bringing ein sof into the world of sof. That's what every time we make a bracha, that's what we're trying to do. Take an apple, pick up the apple, and we say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Bari Priya. You put your koach into this apple. How can the apple produce more apples? Ad ein sof, Johnny Appleseed, millions of apples, right? How could a person create millions of people? It's infinity b'toich infinity. It's infinity. It's ein sof b'toich sof. So what we're grasping for, this is the deepest and the most beautiful part about being a Torah Jew, that we understand that our tachlis is to you get married, bring infinity into that marriage. I say to every chassan akala under every chuppah that I can, bring infinity into this makam of gvul. That's what it's all about. You can do it. You can bring infinity into it. It's not like that, but it's not just about making a bracha. But this is what we can do with our kavanah. We are. Where did this start? And with this I will finish. Where did this start? It started with Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu. Remember, we learned the medrash together. Hashem said to Avram Avinu, "Lech lecha v'hayei bracha." You will be a bracha. You will be a bracha. And the medrash says, we learned the medrash together. Until now, I was in charge of the brachas. Now you're in charge of the brachas. Meaning that Hashem said to Avram Avinu, you are now a human being that can bring Ein Sof into Sof. That's what Hashem said to him. V'hayei bracha. Listen to the Maral. Kasher Oiseh. The Maral is in Nesiv Ois Olam, Nesiv HaChesed, Paragimel. This is Maral, and I quote, Kasher Oiseh Toiv La'acher. When a person does good for another person, I do a chesed for you, right? I do Doran a favor. Hashem Yisbarach Mashpia Lo Gam Kina Toiv Chesed. So Hashem does good for me. If I do good for someone else, Hashem does good for me. This is not a trite idea. Why? Says the Maral. That's how beautiful the imagery is here. Ki Kamoy Asher Yesh Nachal Koton. Let's say you have a tributary, a small river, V'hu mechubar el hanor hagadol, which goes all the way to the Pacific Ocean, right? It's mechubar. It's not a fake pond to grow salmon. It's a real lake, a river. that flows into the Yam HaGadol. El Hanar HaGadol Asher Ein Lo Sof, which at least seems like it's endless, the Yam HaGadol. Kasher Yotzim Hamayim Min HaNachal HaKatan. If you take a little bit of water out of that lake, out of that river, it's called a river. Take it from miyad immediately. Yotzim Mayim Min HaNahar HaGadol V'Chayzer Mashpiel HaNachal. You take 1 cup of water out of the river in the furthest place that the river goes. That automatically creates a situation where more water goes from the Yam HaGadol into the river. Pashat theory of displacement. When we do a chesed, we're taking from the Ein Gvul, from the Ein Sof, by taking a cup of chesed out of here. From the Ein Sof, chesed is pouring more into this world. It's gewaldig. What a maral. Take efel miyad yotzim mayim min hanahar hagadol v'chayzer umashpia el hanachal asher mechuber loy hamayim sheyotzu mimenu. So we're taking from the infinity and putting it into this world. Kein kasher bal hagmilos chasadim asher dovak betuva yeshal Hashem yisbarach kasher mashpia la'achim mituvai. If I'm doing something good for you, oz Hashem yisbarach hu toiv mashpia loy atoiv ba'atzmei asher hu oiseh. Okay, beautiful concept. Nesiva Chesed Paragimel. Then the Maharal says, Ki mashefa shemashpia timsarak bracha v'loy midas hadin. What you're really doing, on a deeper way, says the Maharal, and this is repeated, by the way, if you're keeping track, in Gvuras Hashem of the Maharal, Parakov, the Sefer here brings the two things together, that what's happening is that you're making the midas hachesed overpower the midas hadin in this world. Isn't that what we all want to do? So Hashem said, Yishmal b'ni barcheni, this is the bracha. And what did he say? Okay, I'm in. Let's do this. Let your chesed be stronger than your din.
That's bracha.
That's the pshat. And the Sefer, Das Tefillah, brings his Maharal, and then he brings a gra, which I was just moved by. Hard to be moved by a gra. I mean, first you have to understand it. But there's a pasuk that says in Malachi, which the Lubavitchers like to sing, Hari koisi lachem bracha ad belidai ad sheyiblu sivsoseim miloimer dai. Hashem will give, listen to words, Hari koisi, right? I will empty out. Hari koisi lachem bracha ad belidai, right? Ad belidai, until, what does ad belidai mean exactly? Ad belidai.
Belidai is infinite. Belidai, another way to say infinite.
You're like the gra. Ad belidai. Ad sheyiblu sivsoseim, until you'll be sick of saying die. Ad sheyiblu, right? Everyone knows the nigga. Die, right? Die with the die.
Unlimited.
Die with the die. Belidai.
Unlimited.
So, what was the Shem Hashem that was used when he created the world? Shem, Shah, die. Mi sha'omer la'ilamai die. Rashi says it right in Bereshit. Mi sha'omer la'ilamai die. That die, Shaddai, which we say Shakai, is the shame of die. It's the word, it's the shame of limitation. It's the shame of finitude. It's the shame of gvul. And it's the shame of din. But when there's bracha, we open up the tzinor up to a world of infinity, which can now fill the world until the die is not die anymore. It's beli die. You with me on this? Hari koisi lachem bracha, says Malachi Anavi, talking about, by the way, when you go back and build the Beis HaMikdash, Hari koisi lachem bracha ad beli die. Ad sheyivlu sivsoseichem. You just came back from Golos. Malachi was Ezra. You just came back from Golos. So what are you saying? Die. You're saying die. We're in Golos. Everything is die. There's a gvul. There's dinim. There's rules. No. Says Malachi, you're going into Eretz Yisrael. It's Hari koisi lachem bracha ad beli die. Don't worry about the teva any longer. I remember when maybe a year after I moved to Eretz Yisrael, I went to speak to my Rabbi, Rav Scheinberg. He said to me, my Rabbi, right? He said to me, "How you doing here in Eretz Yisrael? How's everything going? How's your aliyah?" So I said, "It's going good. It's going good. Like I'm learning good. I'm listening about good." I said, "I have no mahalach though in Parnasa." So he said to me, without thinking, "What does Parnasa have to do with Eretz Yisrael?" like who lives on Piteva in Eretz Yisrael? Because the pshat is harikoisi lachem bracha ad b'li dai. Let's speak with the dai. You have to get to a madrega. Now, I'm not saying anybody should be saying Mechalas. You're not allowed to be saying Mechalas. You have to do what you have to do, but it doesn't necessarily. We all have to make parnasa. We all have to be doing for parnasa. All have to do something. You're not allowed to be saying Mechalas. I was at the passport office yesterday, so it was a gewaldige thing to see Bishrad Hapnim, which is my limud from the Sefta Soito. They take you from room to room and from person to person until they wear you out. So it was Sefta Soito, but there was one guy I was just impressed. He went to get a set of passport, and it costs 190 shekels to get a passport. So he went to get a set of passport, and the lady said, "Okay, I need 190 shekel." So he says to the lady, "1 minute," and he goes to everybody in the waiting room and says, "Can you help me out with the passport? I need 190 shekel." Right? So the nest was that he got it. He got the 190 shekel. He's got a son of passport. But this is us, sir. I'm just saying, this is us, sir. You're not allowed to be Seibach Haranes, you're not allowed to be Bashlachatz B'chal Tzibur. This is us, sir. Babish Usher to do that.
How's he get his plane ticket?
Same way, he'll do it at the airport, I guess. So it's a mahalach, No, but I'm not suggesting, what I'm trying to say is I'm not suggesting that, but I'm trying to say is that there is gevul in this world. We're living in a world where there's finitude. You can't deny the fact that you have to go with teva. Gravity is gravity, and all kinds of. I personally have not witnessed anybody levitating. I don't think it's doable. There is dinim in this world. However, within the dinim in the world, you can put bli gvul. Within the gvul, you can put bli gvul. The keli of the world can hold something much bigger than its walls. And that's what the word bracha means. Every time we're saying bracha, let this marriage, let this apple, let this Talmud Torah, let it all be b'li gvul. And once it's b'li gvul, so what does parnasa have to do with Eretz Yisrael? Meaning, yes, of course you have to do everything you have to do, but it's just all you're doing is taking the gvul of a keli and you're filling it up with an infinity, a cup of infinity. You have a cup of infinity, and that name of the cup of infinity is bracha. That's what bracha is, and that's what we learned. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu. That's miyashiv the stira of the kesher shel tefillin. Hera la'anav tmunas Hashem l'negadeinav. That became his tmunas Hashem. That became pal daber boy. That became panim el panim. That was so close because he brought the infinity into a world. Even though he said, "Let me see the infinity," Hashem said, "No, you can't see that. But I can show you the kesher shel tefillin. I can show you how it all can work out into this world." And that's not just us. All of Bnei Yisrael were afraid of it, but we don't have to be afraid of it. Bavur Nasi says, Amar Hashem Tzorkos. Hashem said, it's just a test. Can you find the infinity within? You can find. You know where the easiest place is to find infinity in the finite world is in people. It's just so amazing. You can see people can work way beyond their kochos because they have a neshama. It's just amazing to see how the chibur that a person has to the Rebbeinu Shalom peh el peh. Because I think the pshat and peh el peh, or if I'm notwithstanding, is vayipach ba'apov nishmas chaim. That was peh el peh. Artificial resuscitation, which is not artificial. It was very real. This was the peh el, that's peh el peh, and that's the giving of life. So every person has this neshama. So you can find in another human being, and this is an avodah to find, sometimes a hard avodah, you can find the avodah is to find the unlimited, the bli gvul within the gvul. This is your gvulim, but there's something bli gvul about you. If you can find that bli gvul, you're in love. Okay, thank you. Tonight is the